outrageous things that has happened in other people's lives. It is hurting them, it is killing them. They're carrying the load of guilt all over and they want a place to share it. This is the platform they get to share and not be worried about other people knowing exactly what they have done. I have with me in the studio my panelists, and they are awesome and they are ready to share their opinions with us right here in the studio. And then our counselor will join us and give us his professional knowledge. This is Confessions on TV3. Don't go away. You're welcome back. My name is Miss Nancy and this is Confessions on TV3. Here I have the woman, young woman actually, who has a very interesting story. Something you would want to hear, something that causes us to have this very serious conversation up there in the studio. And yeah, I act as the confessor. I act like the priest who gets to listen to everything you have done, the good, the bad, and even the ugly. You are welcome.
Thank you, Miss Nancy.
So, tell us your confession.
My name is Asantua, and I'm 26 years.
Okay.
I'm from a family of four, my parents and my big brother.
Okay.
As growing up as a kid, I've always had a fatherly love of having my dad play with me, give me toys, hit my back and be like I'm beautiful, praise me and all that. I didn't really see anything wrong with everything going on with how my dad was touching me. Till one day, he made love to me. My dad slept with me.
Whoa.
At the first point,
Whoa.
it was something I was.
Were you adopted or something?
No, that's my real dad.
Your biological
my biological
father?
Yes.
At a point, I wasn't comfortable with it, but he gave me a lot of gifts. Even if I do something in the house and I'm all wrong, I'll have my dad backing me up saying, Asantua, forget it, and rather give the blasting to my big brother. So I felt okay with it because always my dad would come back from work, give me gifts, give me money. And Miss Nancy, my dad's body is really nice.
Your dad's body is nice.
He has all the six packs, or any modern girl would think about, all the packs.
I mean, at what point did you started looking at your dad's body? Before he had you or after he had you?
I could say after.
Okay.
But I really, really liked my dad compared to my mom, because trust me, he showed me the best.
I mean, then the norm is that girls would always love their dads, right? Whoa. And why are you telling us now? What is your situation?
At a point, I met a guy who showed me all the love in the world for me to know I could also get a boyfriend. And you know, as every girl, everybody wishes to have a boyfriend and every other thing. So
that's the norm.
I liked it, and I stopped my dad from making out with me. To the extent he had to rape me. He has to force himself on me severally, come to my room anytime at all and just do whatever he wants to do. Not caring what I said, because I wanted to back out. And as in all the state I'm in, I don't even know what to do to myself because I'm pregnant.
You are pregnant. With who? Your boyfriend or your father?
I don't know. I was left with both of them, so I don't know whether it's for my boyfriend or it's for my dad.
Asantua,
Yes.
at what age did your father start having sex with you?
I could say age 16, 14. It's been long.
Yeah.
I can't really
Keep
I mean,
going.
I see you now, you're a full-bodied, curvaceous woman, but in your teens, were you big? Were you appealing physically?
Yes, I was. My mom has this TikTok body and I picked it up from her. I had, you could see me, I could think I was in my 20s.
And your first experience, do we take it was your father, your biological father, that broke your virginity?
Yes, I never met any guy. I didn't really know what sex was. It was my dad who showed me every pleasure of that.
And you found it pleasurable? At what point did it become nice, an experience for you?
He made me know this is how love is, and he's teaching me the right thing. And out of that, when I go out and I get my own, like how he has my mom, I'll get used to the whole thing. And at the first point, I didn't really understand the whole thing. I couldn't really picture what was going on, but I later started enjoying it because it was nice.
And your mother, where was she in all of this? Living in the same house with you?
My mom is in the same house, but my mom is a trader, so she goes back in, not always back. Growing up business, my dad was everything. He was like a mother. He did everything my mom was supposed to do, like buffing me and every other thing.
When a man, a biological father of a young woman, finds her physically appealing, there is something definitely wrong. This is something we need to talk about. This is Confessions on TV3. Let's get into the studio and know what our resource person, our able counselor, has to say and what the studio audience also have to say about this situation. Is this a confession that we need to help her? Is it a state that she needs to be in? How do we help this young Asantewaa? Thank you, my people. Miss Yellow, how are you? And hello, everybody. Hello. It's good to have you right here in the studio. This is some confession we just heard. The confessor is shocked, overwhelmed. I just do not even know what to think of this. What do you think?
I think it's sad. Like, it's very sad for someone to go through something like that, and from a very young age. It's very sad. It's like, sad is the only word I can find.
If there was any other word beyond sad, that is what she would have used. Any other person? Asantewaa's experience, young, naive, a virgin, her virginity taken by her own father, and at a point, she got used to it, she got addicted, and started falling in love with her own father, to an extent that she can even call her father's body fine.
I really don't know what to say, but it's a very sad story.
Isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very sad story, and she going through what she went through and all that, she will need lots of help. And people who will understand and not judge her. Yeah, and for the father, maybe growing up wasn't proper. He didn't get the proper, or there's something wrong
psychologically
upstairs.
not right
for him to do that with his daughter, 14 years. Did you say 14 or 16?
She said between the ages of 14 and 16,
yeah,
if she can recall.
To break her virginity and to enjoy her for 10 good years. It's sad. And I don't blame her for saying she finds her father appealing.
You don't?
No, I don't. Because sometimes you can be doing something wrong for so long and it will feel right.
That's a good one.
Yes.
Doing the wrong thing for so long
feels
it
right.
starts to feel right.
Yes.
And that is probably what she went through.
Yes, and probably she didn't have people around her to be talking to. The mom was never there. It's just her father who has been there for her, and she thought it was, and every girl looks up to their father.
For security, for
Yes,
protection,
every girl
for love.
So if my father is doing all that to me, I will see it to be love, because there's no one I talk to. He's the only one there for me. And maybe probably the man raised the girl, trained her to the extent that she can't confide in people, she can't talk to people. So her first time trying someone else, maybe she realized it wasn't a good thing. That was when she realized it wasn't a good thing for her.
Well, of course, if you didn't even have the knowledge as you go through life, you realize that your friends had boyfriends who were not their brothers or their fathers.
The father told her it's a process. So after it's being done, she will end up like her mother, who is now married to him.
We are not allowed to swear on the show. Otherwise, I would have said, God punish this man.
So I believe in her mind, she thought she was doing the right thing.
Thank you. Any other? I need the men to talk. You are the fathers. A man like you is abusing his own daughter.
Miss Nancy, for all intents and, I'll just say that the man is a pedophile. He's sick inside, that's first and foremost, because it takes a real man to really take responsibility and take care of his kids. You took the chance to marry somebody, and you settle with her, and he had a child with her. Now, what's it? Your desires and your passion has moved from the mother to the daughter. And if you shower out with gifts, women, we know this. When we like a lady, we know how to bait her, gifts and all that. We're baiting her into a certain point that you force yourself.
But fathers have given gifts to their children, given them the best lives, made them real-life princesses, and never found them sexually attractive.
That's why I say he's a pedophile. He's crazy.
He is.
He's a sociopath. Cool. Because in your sanka, why would she be appealing to you for you to even force yourself on her?
That is a question. If you are not sick, and at what point do we even notice that what our people around us, our family, friends are doing show signs of sicknesses, mental illnesses? This is something we hardly ever talk about in Ghana. And this is what is happening. This young woman's life is about to be ruined. If anybody ever hears that she slept with her dad, who would accept a girl like this in their home as a daughter-in-law, even a friend, as a wife or a girlfriend? If the boyfriend gets to know, her life is ruined. This is Confessions. We hear the worst stories here, and we get others talking. This is not a good one. We'll be right back. Please don't go away. You are welcome back. This is Confessions on TV3. My name is Miss Nancy, and Counselor Edumata has just joined us. He is a very fine gentleman. Yes, he is a great counselor, adored by Ghana. He is a chartered marketer. What more?
Where do you get that from?
I guess I'd love to know the people I work with.
That was my hidden treasure, you know.
I'm glad. I'm glad. I told Ghana that you are awesome like that. But there is more to you, isn't there?
Yes, and then I'm also a certified Crestcom USA trainer. We do more corporate training. So a lot of people have come through me, and they have had my tutelage.
And I'm sure it was a good one. A great one we have here. This is TV3. We bring you only the best. And Counselor.
Yes, ma'am.
Let us look at this young lady's story. A 26-year-old girl who has had horrible times in the hands of her own father. Let's look at it.
Yes. And my big brother.
Okay.
As growing up as a kid, I've always had a fatherly love of having my dad play with me. Give me toys, hits my back and be like I'm beautiful, praise me and all that. I didn't really see anything wrong with everything going on with how my dad was touching me. Till one day, he made love to me. My dad slept with me.
Whoa. What is your situation?
At a point, I met a guy who showed me all the love in the world for me to know I could also get a boyfriend. And you know, as every girl, everybody wishes to have a boyfriend and every other thing. So
that's the norm.
I liked it, and I stopped my dad from making out with me to the extent he had to rape me. He has to force himself on me severely, come to my room anytime at all and just do whatever he wants to do. Not caring what I said, because I wanted to back out. And as and now the state I'm in, I don't even know what to do to myself because I'm pregnant.
You are pregnant? With who? Your boyfriend or your father?
I don't know. I've slept with both of them, so I don't know whether it's for my boyfriend or it's for my dad.
Yes, and that is a very sad story. Counselor, you are with us. Imagine a young girl going through this in the hands of her own father.
Miss Nancy, this is a bit upset.
It is.
This is sickness.
It is.
This is madness.
A dumbo.
A dumbo. Sa anye beya. Ne ye honhom boni bi na hye papa ntim. But right from that day, this man broke the virginity of this girl. This man has lost the pedigree of being called a father.
But was he actually the father?
Well,
haven't we read all stories in the news of late where people have grown children, have been great to them, and then they just realize that they are not even related to them by blood? Is it not women that have been scheming? Because I doubt if a healthy man would look at his own flesh and blood and treat her the way this man has treated
Miss Nancy,
Asantua.
even if it is like that, and somebody somewhere calls you father, calls you daddy, please, you dare not. Because what you're supposed to do is that I look up to you, you are my fortress, I want to grow through you. Why are you destroying me?
Security, protection.
Exactly, that is why I called you father, I called you daddy. Even if it's not biological, you had no right. And this man, we need to interrogate this man further. But unfortunately, if I was there and I was to ask Asantua questions, I would ask, when the gifts were given to her, what was the comment that goes? Was there a touch? Was there a soothing talk? Was there a threat? Was there what? We need to know.
What she says, this man has always been adoringly kind to his only daughter. She is a girl and she has a brother. Only daughter, you know, the princess of the home, daddy's little girl. That is how she grew up. She's always been pampered. He would always make excuses on her behalf. And you know how mothers are like with their daughters. They want to really train you, groom you with some kind of discipline.
That's right.
And daddy would always want to come to the aid of his little angel. And she had no choice than to trust daddy.
Yes, and that is where I really wanted to ask her. But even if I'm not able to ask her, what was the mom's response? Anytime Asantua gets too close to daddy, mommy should be able to pass a comment. Mommy should be able to see some few things. And then talk to the daddy that, look,
no, I mean, for a healthy, right-thinking mother, that's the sad thing. You have to be a bit crazy to notice,
why you're a mother.
Notice that your own husband is getting extremely close to his
you
own
won't
daughter.
go to that extent, but you see traces. That is
You will?
Yes, if you're a woman
Some
and
of
you're
us,
a mother.
we think no evil, we see no evil.
Well, it depends on how the chemistry of the house looks like. Either the daddy is so dictatorial, daddy speaks and nobody speaks, all right?
Yes.
And it's always about daddy who does it all, and so everybody comes under daddy. Then that's what you see.
Yes.
But where it is a give and take thing, where we discuss and we try to see, then even going closer and not wearing something in front of daddy, mommy will question you.
Thank you, Counselor. Yes, I think that one of the, you wanted to say something?
Okay, Counselor,
Yeah.
I have listened to you, and I have listened to Asantua.
Yes.
And I think this story is a sweet and sour story.
Sweet and sour.
Yes.
What is sweet about this?
In my own opinion, it is sweet because Asantua happens to be a good girl in a home. But at the same time, she turns out to be a bad girl.
Rather.
Yes, because see, you are in the same house with your mom or in the house with your father, and he keeps showering you, giving you more presents and all that. And you take them.
That's her father. That is his duty.
And then, when we're listening to her, she keeps saying, the father has a six-pack.
The body thing, yeah.
The father has a six-pack, and she loves the six-pack. She loves the things that the father gives to her. She loves the six-pack. She likes the romance. If she's not a bad girl, at the age of 16, at the age of 16.
She actually said that at that time when they commenced, she was confused about it.
At the age of 16, okay, Asantua, 14 to 16, she started enjoying the father, okay? When she was enjoying the
point
father.
of correction, she didn't enjoy the father started enjoying her.
When the father was touching her, she goes to church. She goes to school, okay? they have family members. Don't anybody visit their house or their home? When she goes to school, she has friends. Don't they talk about these things?
I don't.
And then when she goes to church,
I don't agree. I don't agree with what he's saying.
Well, let me manage you here. Yes, another
I really
woman's
don't
opinion.
agree with what he's saying because it's never her fault. It's the man, and moreover, she said, listening to the audio, she said the mother was always busy because the mother would have been the person she would
have
confide
noticed.
in. Or she would notice there's something going on. The relationship between the father and the daughter is not right. And maybe because of the way the man is giving her gifts and all that, she's preventing her from being nice to people or talking to people.
I want to say something.
that is where I want to come in, okay?
Please.
So
When
you
the father
can't,
was
you can't,
giving
you
her-
can't blame the little
When
girl.
your
lady.
father provides for
You
you,
can't
Yes,
go
when the
to-
father was showering her with more gifts,
we call
the
that
mother wasn't
provision.
receiving part. And maybe the mother would have even complained. Maybe.
The
mother
mother
would have
wasn't
complained.
around. She
But
said
once in a while,
she's-
she might be around.
Yes, but she would think
understand?
it's a daddy spoiling his little girl.
And then why would she also go out there?
Now, you
and
know
go and
what?
taste it
You
and
know
come in?
what, people?
She's a bad girl.
Asantewa,
She's not a bad
Asantewa
girl,
is still in the studio, counselor.
Yes.
I would want Asantewa to come out. I mean, listening to the story, somebody thinks that Asantewa was a bad girl because she took things.
not.
And for me, a father provides. So if you provide for me, there is no news. Asantewa, was it extreme? Did you feel that your father treated you better than any other friend who had told you what her parents do for her?
Miss Nancy, I could be in school and at the end, kids always talk about their parents giving them gifts. At the start of the whole thing, I wasn't really getting much of a gift till this happened. And trust me, each day my dad comes back from work, he has something for me. There's no...
Until it started, he was not giving you this kind of attention until it started.
Yeah, when it started, that was when I started getting more gifts. And
From him.
whatever I wish for, I say, I want daddy, I want a toy, I want a phone. He buys it. I don't even need to say it twice.
Because he has started taking advantage of her, so he was kind of paying her back.
Yes.
And this
In
is
kind.
something she's been yearning for. Because she said when she goes to school, her friends talks about it. So when you want a father's love and someone else, and your father all of a sudden is giving you that love, you will cherish it.
Counselor.
Can I ask Asantewa a question?
Yes, Counselor, please.
Asantewa, please. When Daddy was giving you those things, what was the comment that goes with it?
Counselor, when the whole thing started, it came with a threat. At the end, Daddy made me know, for the first time as a child, if you do that and you tell the society, they'll criticize you because you even allowing it is bad. And moreover, as he has been bathing me since I was a child, it's the same thing I was doing. So why is it that now I want to complain?
Counselor.
So you cannot conclude, Mr. Gentleman, that he's a bad girl. There is a fear embedded in her.
And
Counselor,
even
Counselor,
if she was a
you
bad
know
girl,
what?
it's her father that broke her virginity.
Exactly.
But Counselor, you
Bottom
know what?
line.
See, girls of nowadays, what they do is that when they get into this situation, when their fathers, their uncles, their teachers, their headmasters are giving them gifts, giving them rewards and other things, okay, and they are enjoying it, they don't complain. Oh. They don't complain. But
The way you are
when
talking,
it
it's like
gets
you
to
are
a
talking
point,
from experience.
no. And also, we have to find out from Asantewa whether the man is a real father.
We need to
How would
find
she
out
know
from the
if the man is
mother.
a real
father?
so,
Maybe
From the
maybe.
mother. Asantewa knows that that's my dad.
Can I
But
come
it's
in?
only
Nancy,
mothers
can I
who
say
know the
something?
paternity. In fact,
Yes.
sometimes the mothers do not even know the paternity of their children.
Can I
So
come
we would
in?
have to go
I say
to
something?
So
get some
here-
paternity tests. Yes, my lady.
This story is very pathetic. I would choose
Serious?
a drunkard as a father
Than a rapist.
Because
Bless you,
in
girl.
our African homes, even at 14, you don't have the mind of your own.
No.
Even at 20, you still don't have the mind of your own. You don't have the mind of your own to think.
Oh, you deserve this. You
Yes.
deserve this. You
because,
deserve this.
Yes, because sometimes you go outside and they say something and you come home and your parents say otherwise and you believe what your parents say because they are your first mentor. They groom you and they do everything to you. Now, let's say she goes to school. She learns subjects like RME, religious, and all science and all those things. But adolescence, when you get into the adolescent stage, consistency matters.
Yes.
Consistency matters because sometimes you go, when you're going to SHS, I've experienced that. When you go to SHS, first, Form 1, you are a very good student. Why? Because the advice are fresh in your head. But the adolescence edge in you, it's if the advice is not consistent, do this, you have to do this. You be a bad person,
and
or
when
you grow
a
up
negative influence is coming from your parents,
and it's
somebody
consistent,
you trust.
Yes, it's going to be like that. So it's not her fault. Now, why is she coming out to say it? I'm asking you.
She's pregnant. Coming out to say it because she's pregnant.
Yes. So this is Asantewa's situation currently. She is pregnant and she does not know whom it belongs to. The love of her life, her new boyfriend, or her father, who is supposed to be her first love. It is a battle between the love of her life and her first love. People, let's take this break. When we come back, we get to know where and how this young woman will deal with her life.
Social media really influences our youth because it plays a vital part of our lifestyle. I always say that social media is like food, the food that we eat. Whatever you eat is what you produce. It influences all of us, positively and negatively.
So with the negative, let me put it this way. Our youth usually see stuff online, and instead of probably advising themselves to abstain from it, it influences their actions, it influences their decision making. And with the positive, let me use myself. DJ faculty, look at me. Mama, I'm a star. Positive.
That has actually had some positive influence on young people. Some of them has to do with the fact that they've been able to harness networking opportunities. There's been so much connection. People have been able to maintain relationships. People have also been able to find fun facts and fun things to do on social media, which is very, very encouraging.
The negative part of social media is getting too much and it's getting too boring. We see people being like what they are not. They borrow cars, they borrow clothes that are not theirs, and then it's actually appalling to see all those things on social media. Because sometimes you know certain personalities and on social media there's something else. I think it's very bad.
You're welcome back. So we went out there on the streets to know what people thought about Asantewa's confession, and everybody seems to say that social media is doing us more harm than good, because every girl wants and needs things. In fact, they do not need things, they want things, because when their needs are met, they do not even appreciate it. They keep on wanting. Counselor?
Yes, ma'am.
Social media influences.
Yes, it's really killing us. It has made us to open our doors open. Our doors are barely open. Instead of we to shut our doors to understand what is going on within the people I have around me, we are not doing it. So this girl sits behind the phone or gets to a friend and they are chatting, and the friend convinces and she takes it and becoming like one, and daddy bought me this, and then show it to the friend says, it's good, keep picking it, keep picking it. That is what is happening. Yeah. And at the age of 14, 15, 16, they have phones. Who gave them the phones? Who questioned the coming of the phone into the home? Because daddy, mommy gave.
Yeah,
so
probably
you have
daddy
the
would give her a phone,
exactly,
so that when he's coming home, he would call her and know whether mommy is around or not.
Fantastic.
And put his mind in the place. where
And you see, when all these things are going on, it's like, I also want to showcase what I have. I want to listen to what others are doing to get better. Yes. And if daddy gives, there's nothing wrong with it. If daddy touches you, there's nothing wrong. And these are things that are going on.
Social media
we are at risk.
Influences, and I need you to talk about it. Have you ever been inspired onto badness or onto goodness when it comes to social media?
I think, yes, social media influences us a lot. Because with her story, she said when she went to school, her friends were telling her, my daddy gives me this, my daddy gives me that. And then she would have a phone at that age. She would definitely go on Instagram, and there are these confessions and other things like that on Instagram. You hear people saying it, and then comments that come in like, it's good, there's nothing wrong with it. Yeah. So she would begin to think that it's fine because she said her daddy has 6 packs and then it's nice. Yes. So social media really influences.
Social media will cause you to think your father is attractive when a healthy young woman should say, my daddy is fine. Yeah. You can only look at your dad and be happy that your dad doesn't look as old as probably your friend's parents look, or your father dresses well, so when he comes to PTA, everybody will be saying, oh, your dad is fine. But not to look at his 6-pack and long for his body.
We are even lucky he didn't mention it.
Hi. So, I also want to bring my opinion. I come from a strict home. A very strict home, that when I was in SS, you don't use phone.
Okay.
Because I think this is from our parents. Yeah. Our parents are not supposed to be giving us this kind of materialistic stuffs. Because I'm talking from experience. I started using phone at the age of 20.
Okay.
Because I lived with my auntie, and she would never. If you're in JHS, you're not supposed to use phone. So I think sometimes it's not from us, we the peers, it's also from our parents. So our parents should, if our parents want us to go the good way, then they should also lead us the right way.
We're talking about social media and all of that, phones and all, but now, even from crèche, you realize that the children need phones for research. They need internet for research. So it helps in one way. At what point do you put some restrictions on the use of it? Yes, my lady in red.
I think the parents should monitor whatever they do on their phones. Like if, let's say, you have a class or you have an assignment, you go to daddy for the phone.
For daddy's phone,
yes,
and use it,
yes,
so that daddy can check out on the things you did with the phone.
Yes.
Good point.
That's a good one.
Good point. Yeah.
That's a good one. Yes, you may, my gentleman.
I was just saying, just in a lighter mood. So we are even lucky she mentioned 6-pack. And they didn't mention, say,
oh my God. That's extreme.
Because at the end of the day, this man has been having intercourse with you for 10 years.
Goodness.
It's uneasy.
Is it at this point, do we say that it was only normal that she got used to her father?
Oh, sure.
And started loving him? I mean, no, not loving him. So there is a difference between loving your dad and being in love with your dad.
There is loving. I'm sure Counselor will agree with me. They call something Stockholm Syndrome. You're a kidnapper and you are kidnapping.
Yeah, you can
When you get afraid of the person, then you fall dependent on the person. As you get dependent on the person, you start to love the person. So fear turns into love. And maybe you're sure that when we ask Asantua right now, if judges want to persecute the father, she said, no, don't. I love my father. That is where he has gotten to. But in this situation, Asantua is still in the studio, but Asantua brought her case on confessions. If she was still in love with her dad, if she didn't want to move on with her life, if she knew what she wanted from this, my love of my life and my first love issue, she wouldn't be here. Counselor.
Miss Nancy, let me ask Asantua a question. What was the response when Daddy was trying to penetrate you?
Asantua, your first experience, the very first night your father held you.
Did you say you like it or stop it?
Did you scream? Did you cry? How was the experience? God, I just do not want to imagine this.
The first time my daddy touched me was actually forced. It was painful. It's not something I ever even want to think about. I didn't really know what happened. He later made me know I shouldn't worry. That's how it is. He forced himself on me and even used oil and a whole lot on me. It was really painful. I don't know what I felt then.
And threatened you as well, right?
He made me know if I say it, no matter what they'll say, I'm a bad girl. Because
so this man knew the state of this girl. He has more or less conjured fear into her and using the fear to manipulate her. Therefore, that is still doing. Because if you say it, you die.
See, Counselor, Asantewaa is here for a reason, and we all are here to help Asantewaa. She is currently pregnant. She is not sure whom it belongs to, her biological father or the love of her life. In this situation, are we keeping this pregnancy?
We can't jump into keeping or
not
letting
keeping.
Go, but we need to let the mom be aware.
First of all,
what is happening? Mommy should know what is going on.
Great. Mommy knows now.
Mommy knows now.
Second level.
The second level is that we are now going to go to the higher level as to the family members. In other words, when the father went to marry the mother, who were the Busianfo?
Those that sat together.
Those people,
to take
they
this
need
marriage.
to sit down and say, this is what it's a calamity. In those days, you will not be part of the community in which you live in. Because it's barbaric.
Shouldn't we demand for a paternity test as well?
Then we are asking the person to give birth. Or, while you are pregnant, you can still do it.
We need to know if Asantewa's supposed dad is actually her dad first. And then we get to know.
Miss Nancy, if this baby comes, Asantewaa will never be a happy person. Look, the remnant of pain, the remnant of bad thought is going to crop up. So the baby coming, Asantewaa will never like that baby.
She's actually confused about, so for instance, at her age, she knows that if she's 26, she has the love of her life. If she's pregnant out of wedlock, the guy may want to, speed up the process and they will be together forever.
And you think that
but right now, she doesn't know whether it's for the boy or for the dad.
Good. And you think that if the boy knows that you slept with your dad, the boy will be wholly happily to go in for?
So in this case,
there's so many questions
she is keeping the secret, and that is why she's here.
I believe that
I
agree with Counselor. It is important and prudent that the mom gets to know. And after that, I believe they should sit down, talk, and then go for a DNA test. So that
to know the paternity of the baby.
The baby.
Before
because
they do
it happened.
anything
what
about
I know
it.
is people are criticizing Asantewaa, right? But what I know is when threats comes in, it changes everything. And in the beginning, she was a young girl who was manipulated, lured into what she didn't even know. She didn't know what she was doing. The dad exploited her. But it got to a time when she realized what we call cognitive dissonance, where your actions are inconsistent with your beliefs. So she has come here for us to help. So I believe that it is very prudent we go for the DNA test for us to know who is actually the father of the baby.
Before we decide on whether we keep the baby or not.
But
yes, gentlemen.
I want to know, can we still do DNA while the baby is in there? Is it possible?
Yes, currently it can be done.
Well,
currently it can be done.
I think, depending on the stage of the pregnancy, personally, I think she should let go. Well, per legislation of the country, if the pregnancy is below 3 months, I think it's lawful for you to abort. Because when this child comes in, society's stigma is there.
I'm telling you.
And it's also a whole issue on its own again for both the child.
I mean, because if,
and the
like
woman.
Counselor is suggesting, if we're getting the mother and the family involved, there is no way this conversation, this confession would not go all over the communities. Everybody will hear Asantewa's story.
Yeah, so that is where I think, first of all, the girl should just own up to say maybe it's the boyfriend for now, if you ask me. Yeah,
she should just give it to the boyfriend until she delivers.
Maybe after birth.
Now, what is your name again?
Abednego.
Abed. Now, if a woman comes to you and says that this is for you, only for you to realize that this same girl was sleeping with her dad, would you ever forgive her? Would you want to spend the rest of your life with her?
No, would she tell me that she has ever slept with her dad? I want to know that. Would she tell me?
You are suggesting that she should just give it to you.
So for me, I know, but maybe the boyfriend doesn't know. So just tell the boyfriend, come on, I'm pregnant for you. That's it.
And she should lie and live with this lie for the rest of her life.
After birth, all right, after birth, do the DNA, because during when the baby is in there,
So what if after birth and then the child belongs to the father? What will she do?
So that is where the family and stuff will come
No.
in.
The innocent child is going to suffer for it. So the best thing is, if the pregnancy is below 3 months, it's legal.
Yeah.
So she'll just get rid of it and then...
But what if it belongs to the boy too?
So
it is heated right here in the studio, but we do not have all day. And Counselor, you've been amazing, but let us get to the resolution of this matter.
Yes.
Finally, what do we say about Asantua's situation?
I will sort of throw back the ball to Asantua. Asantua, this is the situation. You have made a mistake. You've now realized that the moves you were making is totally wrong. Here is the result. The child in your belly did not beg you to bring that child to birth. It is your choice. Be it with your boyfriend or be it with your father. Asantua, would you want to keep it? I will ask Asantua first. If the answer comes from Asantua, Asantua says, Counselor, no, I don't want it. Then we can now go back to what Our Lady said. If it's within less than 3 months, and
legal.
It's within then we can, so that you can restore yourself. Because even if you go through the pregnancy, the 9 months that you're going to go through, you are going to go through hell before the delivery.
Knowing on a daily basis that I am pregnant.
So,
and it could be for my father or for my boyfriend.
Good. So I will throw it to Asantua. Do you want to keep it or you want to let go?
Thankfully, Asantua is still in the studio.
Wow.
Asantua, we have said a lot about your situation. Have you been helped in any way?
Miss Nancy, yes, I have.
I'm glad.
Trust me, this has been an emotional headache to me, and I don't know what to do. But at the end, I wish I could turn the hands of time and take things back.
Now, there is a child growing in the inside of you.
That's right.
Who would come out and call you mother and would want to know who the father is. Do you want to keep this child? What are you thinking about? Are you going to continue and live with this burden? Or you would want to give yourself a fresh start? Asantua.
I would want to give myself a fresh start. Because the guy I met is everything I want.
You love him.
And at the end, I'm just like 6 weeks gone, and I can't do this whole thing.
We can still. Now, Asantua, there is something I never asked you. Is the man involved aware of this pregnancy?
Great question.
No, I didn't have the heart to tell him. How will I
You
say
haven't
it?
told him yet because you were not sure. All the better, people, don't you think so?
Sure.
Wonderful, wonderful.
So, Miss Nancy, it goes to underscore the fact that. Okay?
No, I mean, this. Okay, let me take that.
Miss Nancy, any counselor, I'm your boyfriend. I have a legal right to know that you are carrying my child.
It hasn't got
legal right. You are not aware.
No, see, you don't have the legal
what
right.
you don't know does not
So
kill
when I find
you.
out you have done an abortion, what should I do then?
You get it.
You are not
so
aware.
I
What
can
you do
find
not
out
know cannot kill you.
I will notice.
How many men go? I mean, how many men go out there looking for women they have impregnated in the first place?
So that child should have been Barack
What if
Obama.
after
Woman
the
is
abortion,
not-
everybody
You come
conceive
in line
again?
with me that, like I said, Asantua is a bad girl. Now she's not going to tell the father that.
No. Don't
Because
slight
look
it
at the
that way.
decision she's taking now.
No, but you
She's
see-
hiding something.
you see-
That drop.
It is her body.
I would say something.
So she has to
And
make
then she should also
decisions.
be mindful that
She is going to be the one to go through the 9 months.
And the Bible also abortion. Abortion don't mean yet.
And have
Bible
managing the body
abortion.
too.
And Asantua, you Christo.
The Bible speaks also against incest. A father having, a sexual intercourse
Now
with the
we don't-
daughter.
now-
This is also another
Listen,
issue. So
Nancy,
if you
now
want
we
to bring the Bible in,
Listen.
there are so many things that shouldn't have happened
You see-
in the name of the
See,
Bible,
if
my
this
dear.
child
Now we
comes out
cannot
saying-
tell if the man is the real
This is
father.
one of the reasons why people will go through the same thing and will never be able to come out to say.
Exactly.
Because when they do, there will be people that will rather stigmatize them or
That's right.
criticize them.
Especially
instead
the
of
baby
trying to
coming.
Help them.
And with someone like Asantua, let's say it was within 15 or 16 years old. At that age, I was in JHS. My daddy is not a stay-home dad. My daddy always travels and comes back home every 3 months or every 6 months. So if he's coming back home at those period of times and he's bringing me gifts, I'm not supposed to think anything is wrong with that.
It's wrong with
and
that.
if my daddy is touching me, at that age, I wouldn't think anything wrong of that unless I would go to school.
You have
and my
been
friends would-
exposed. It's
Yes.
a child that has
So-
been exposed and have had,
Yes.
that kind of electrifying feeling that
Wanting
would
to have
know
a
that,
feel.
well, this
Yes.
one that my dad did sounds like the one, feels like the
Yes.
one that my boyfriend did.
Yes.
Well, people, this is Confessions. And here, the stories out there, what people are going through, the good, the bad, the very ugly, we bring it out and we discuss it. Yours may be like Asante's story or even worse. We're here for you. We will help you. I hope that you enjoyed this good one from TV3. This is Confessions. Same time next week, we come your way. My name is Miss Nancy, and I have been helped by Counselor.
Yes, ma'am.
It was wonderful having you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, people. Bye-bye.